Chapter 7. A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing. Alex stared out the window of the Cyclone's bus, watching the streetlights go flashing by like UFOs. The way this dream was going, they might really be UFOs. The Cyclones had won their third game and were gathering steam in the tournament, but all Alex kept thinking about was being in the hospital. Why had he dreamed that? What was the dream trying to tell him? We might actually win this, Scraps was saying. We might actually win. The nanny was in the seat across from Alex, knitting with Mrs. P curled up in her lap. They'd strapped her motorcycle to the grill of the bus, and she was a full-fledged member of the team now. Dorothy sat 2 rows ahead of them, working on the lineups for the next day's game. Everyone else was sitting on their knees and leaning over the seats to talk about their victory. The odds are now 539 to 1 that we will win, Tic-Tac told them. Jack pumped his fist. Woohoo! Is that good? No, said Brer Rabbit, but it's a whole lot better than what we started with, he allowed. You gotta believe, Scrap said. Right, Alex? Huh? He pulled himself away from the window. Yeah, you gotta believe. What are you going to wish for, Toad? Jack asked. If we win? Oh, dear. Well, let's see. There's a 3-liter lobster quadrille I've had my eye on for some time. A splendid little 2-seater automobile just perfect for getting out to see the world. But of course, I will probably wish for victory in the coming election instead. What about you, Jack? Oh, I know what I'm going to wish for. I'm going to wish I was good at baseball. But Jack, if you win the tournament with the Cyclones, won't that mean you've already gotten pretty good? Alex asked. Not in Jack's case, said Brer Rabbit. Scraps did a handstand in her seat. I think I'm going to ask for new stuffing. She sniffed her armpit and came away making a face. My old cotton is getting pretty stank. I'm going to wish for more wishes, said Brer Rabbit. Everyone groaned. You can't wish for more wishes. Says who? In stories with wishes, they never wish for more wishes, even though nobody says they can't. Well, I don't aim to make the same mistake. What about you, Alex? Scraps asked. Alex sat up higher in the seat. Who, me? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. There must be something you want, old man. Alex already had everything he had ever wanted. He was the star of a travel team, riding from town to town on a team bus without his parents or his little sister or anybody else but his teammates, playing baseball every day and having a blast. But now he was surprised to realize he was homesick. He wanted to see his mom and dad again, his dog, his room, his school, even his kid sister. He wished he could go home. He couldn't tell them that, of course. The Cyclones. They thought he was a daydream, a lark. They didn't think he had a home to go back to, and they would just argue with him. I don't know, he told them. I guess if I didn't have anything else to worry about, just riding around with you guys and playing baseball forever would be pretty great. Scraps nodded sagely. Good wish. How about you, Dorothy? Dorothy jumped. She'd been caught listening. You know what I'm going to wish for, she told them. The same thing all of you should be wishing for. She turned back around in her seat and slapped her scorebook on her lap. Right now, I wish you guys would quit jabbering and let me finish figuring out the lineup so I can get to sleep. Dorothy's scolding killed the conversation, and everyone sank back down into their seats. Alex stared out the window again, wondering when he would ever wake up from this dream, when he saw an orange glow up ahead. Fire! Toad cried. He was right. It was another bus. A bus like theirs, though not pink, turned over on its side and engulfed in flames. Lester, pull over, Dorothy cried. Pull over. Already on it, Lester called, and he slammed on the brakes. The pink bus skidded to a stop on the other side of the road, and he flipped on the lever that put out the old school bus stop sign, even though there were no other cars on the lonely stretch of highway. Toad pressed his face to the window. Oh my, this is bad. A true test of my crisis response management skills. Has anyone got a megaphone? Alex stood with the rest of the Cyclones to go help, but Nanny May held up her hand. No, you'll stay here. But I have to help, Alex told her. You'll do no such thing. It could be a trap. Besides, I was a brigadier in Queen Alexandra's Royal Army nursing corps during the Great War. I'll be worth 2 of us. But Mrs. P will remain here with you, Nanny May told him, and that was that. Alex sat down in the front seat next to Mrs. P, who was wearing a little knitted scarf now. She sat and watched him like a guard dog. Out the window, Alex could see his teammates pulling people from the wreck against the bright yellow blaze. I wonder who was on that bus, Mrs. P, Alex said. That there was the pig team you played today, Lester said. How do you know who it is? Alex asked. Lester's head turned around slowly like a possessed man in a horror movie. Because I'm the one who did it to them, he said, still stammering like Lester, but in a deeper voice like a growl. Mrs. P hissed and arched her back. It took Alex only a moment to understand what was going on as Lester grew thicker and hairier, bursting out of his overalls like a werewolf. Alex lunged for the exit, but the big bad wolf was there to cut him off, smiling. Mrs. P was small enough to slip through though, and she darted between the wolf's legs and out the door. No, wait, Alex called after the cat. Like a cat was going to be any help to him anyway. Looks like it's just you and me this time, Alex. The wolf grew bigger and bigger until he had to hunch over inside the bus. Alex scrambled over the back of his seat and fell face first into the seat behind him. Help, help, he screamed. Nobody's laughing now, are they? The big bad wolf asked. He tore a seat from its bolts and tossed it behind him, blocking the door. Alex crawled over another seat, afraid that if he went for the aisle, the wolf would be on him in seconds. The wolf wrenched the next front row of seats from the floor with a crank and threw them behind him. Help! Dorothy, Nanny May, anybody! Alex cried. It was no use. The dull roar of the burning bus was too loud. No one could hear him. Run, run as fast as you can, the big bad wolf taunted. Wait, wrong fairy tale. Please wake up, please wake up, please wake up, Alex prayed. His leg got caught climbing over a seat and he fell onto the floor. The wolf yanked up another vinyl seat and the bus bounced. The wolf was playing with him, Alex realized. He was not going to get away. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, he begged. Chank. The wolf ripped away the seat where Alex was hiding, and he slithered along the dusty floor to hide under the next seat, and then the next. Do you know what you did to me, Alex Metcalf? The wolf said. You got me captured. Crank. Made them laugh at me. Shrink. On national television. Wrong. But the worst, the absolute worst, was that you acted like it was nothing. Like coming face to face with the big bad wolf was an afternoon at the ballpark. Kerchank. So now I'm going to eat you up, Alex Metcalf, devour you, slowly, until there's nothing left of you but your shredded jersey. Something they can show on the 6 o'clock news. Then everyone will remember that the big bad wolf is no one to laugh at. Alex hit the back wall of the bus. There was nowhere left to crawl. Wake up, 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 Alex whispered. He was supposed to be awake by now. That was how bad dreams worked. Rank. The wolf pried the last of the seats away and leered at him. Saliva drooled from his huge grinning teeth. This isn't supposed to happen, Alex cried. When the nightmare is too much, you're supposed to wake up. You can't die in a dream. Want to bet? Said the wolf. Alex was curling into a ball when he spied the words on the bottom of the wall behind him. Emergency exit. The back door. Buses always had a back door. Alex launched himself at the handle, but the wolf was on him like a beanball. Claws flashed. Alex's jersey ripped, and his stomach burned. He fell backwards. His hands scrabbled for the handle. The wolf lunged, teeth gleaming. The door gave swinging outward, and the wolf's jaws snapped right where he had been. Alex fell 4 feet down to the ground and landed on his back with an oomph that knocked the air out of him. The wolf's head bent low, and he lunged again, but his shoulders ground against the back wall of the bus. He was too big to fit through the door, for a few seconds at least. Ha! Alex rasped, trying to call for help, but it came out like a wheezing laugh instead. He tried to kick backwards, but he was hyperventilating now, hysterical. He couldn't catch his breath. The wolf shrank down to person size and leapt. Alex covered his head and turned, waited for the bite that would finish him, but instead there was a choom and an inhumane howl and burning heat and the smell of singed hair and burnt flesh. Alex opened his eyes. The air was filled with smoke, and the big bad wolf wasn't on top of him anymore. The wolf was struggling to his feet a few yards away, and on the other side of Alex was Nanny May, marching toward him with a long black metal thing on her shoulder. A bazooka. I've had just about enough of your naughtiness, Mr. Wolf, she said. Choom. She fired the rocket launcher as she advanced, cool as ice water, at the end of the baseball practice, Mrs. P trotting along her side. Kathoom. Alex flinched, feeling the searing heat from the explosion, and turned to see the big bad wolf blown back into the darkness by the blast. Nanny May pulled another missile out of her pocket and slid into the smoking bazooka. Then Dorothy was there, grabbing Alex, ready to whisk him someplace else. But the big bad wolf was gone. The nanny had chased him away. I was right, of course, it was a trap, Nanny May said, sliding the bazooka into one of her trench coat pockets like it wasn't 10 times too long to fit in there. Are you okay? Dorothy asked Alex. She frowned at the cuts on his stomach. They stung like someone had slid into him cleats first. Great. Only I'd like to wake up now, Alex told her, and he promptly passed out.